Story. Tell me a story.
How did it all start? Do you remember?
Oh, now what happened? How did it stop?
This is Small Business Origins.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Small Business Origins. I'm your host, as always, John Kelly, aka John the Marketer on Instagram and TikTok, and you're tuned in. It's our nationwide search. We're looking for entrepreneurs that have a story to tell. But y'all know I say this almost, I would say, every other episode at this point. Maybe you don't see it because I don't release them in that sequential order, but every episode that I log in to record, it seems like every other one, I've got somebody that's like, hey, I'm not from your nationwide search. I'm outside of the nation there, but can I be on the show? And the answer is always yes. I love nothing more than seeing this podcast reach people overseas, reach people in countries next door to ours, whether that's from the listener side or people wanting to be on the show. I think it's amazing. So today we're traveling all the way to Portugal. I've got Tiago Fiara. He is a solopreneur, business coach, and consultant. Tiago, welcome to the show, man.
Man, thank you so much for having me. It's a true honor. We're just chatting offline. I'm on the other side of the Atlantic. We're just having a cool chat here. It's amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And of course, all that practice beforehand to make sure I'm saying your name right. And I didn't say Faria correctly. I had to mess that up just a little bit. I rolled my R a little too hard, like I'm used to over here in Texas, so.
I love it.
But man, it is my pleasure to have you on the show. It's always my pleasure to have people on this show because truly this is a passion for me. It's just helping other people who are trying to expand their reach, who are trying to make a living doing what they want to do with that entrepreneurial freedom. And the fact that you're a solopreneur that's out here just really trying to get on your grind and make this into something bigger, it fits the bill just well. Like I'm so happy to have you here and get talking to you. But before we get into it, we always start out with an icebreaker question. And today's icebreaker is, what takes a lot of time but is totally worth it?
What takes a lot of time? I'd say maybe one thing that I love to do, well, jumping now to the business side of things, right? I think it's something that could be useful for whoever is listening. Whenever I create a new offer, a new program, a new service, a new mentorship, whatever it may be, it takes a lot of time to do something that is extremely necessary, but most of us avoid it. I don't know why, because it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of work, which is talking to people first. Before you create whatever you are trying to create, decide first of all who is the niche, the specific person you're trying to talk to, the problem you try to solve, and then simply reach out to your network and talk to 5-10 people that are in that specific niche and area, and ask them questions like, what are your main frustrations? What is going through your life? Like, how's your day-to-day look like? What are your goals? Because having those chats, you get a lot of amazing intel. You get the emotional words that people are using that you can then reuse for your own benefit and reflected in your offer, in your communications, your marketing, etc. And it opens up lots of doors. Just the fact that you talk to people around you, it opens doors for you to sell to them afterwards. It opens doors for you to ask them for referrals afterwards. So it's a task that takes a lot of time. And it feels like, it's a waste of time. I don't want to do it. I want to jump faster to the fun marketing and hardcore selling stuff. But it's so damn worth it. Because you will create something that the market actually wants to buy, right? Because you're reflecting exactly what they want and need and just using their own words. And it's magical.
It's something that I almost want to just like cut right here and then put a little duplicate of it right after you're done saying that, where you just start over and say it again, because that is so important. Like I've been through coaching programs, sales programs, all of these things where you're learning how to scale a business, how to build a business from scratch, how to add a new service like you just offered, how to bring in, pun intended, a new offer to your business, those kinds of things. And that's something that we've gone through on the marketing side with, for instance, adding some type of lead generation to someone's business, whether that's through paid advertisement on SEO or Google, SEO, social media or Google, doing SEO, doing all these different things to kind of generate these leads. It's like, what's the best way to hop into that new lead generation outlet that you're moving into? And that was the biggest thing that we had always heard from our coaches was tap into your network first, because that's where your easiest and quickest wins could come from. And then exactly what you said is I'm not hitting up these 5 people to sell to. I mean, I did this myself with a friend of mine who owns an AC company because we were thinking about the HVAC niche. And I called him and I said, hey, so I know a little bit about HVAC, but I don't know everything about HVAC. If I was calling you right now to sell you and I was the best salesman ever, what are things that you need to hear? How much are you making average per job? How much money do you have in that budget? You know, all of these things so that first of all, I can figure out if this is a niche that I want to go into. Because if they're telling me an average customer makes them $100 or $200, but I want to charge $2,000 a month for my services, I need to bring him a lot of leads in order to make it worth it. You know, so I mean, not to get off into this like huge marketing lecture, but you're 100% correct. Just taking that time to talk to your friends, have a 30 to 45-minute conversation or however long it lasts, whether it's shorter, longer, doesn't matter. Gather as much information as you can so that when you go to that next person, you sound like the expert in that industry instead of sounding like a brand new, hey, we're just now starting Google ads and we've never done this for HVAC before. So let me sell you as my first client. It just builds that confidence when you can come in and say, hey, I know I can bring you X number of leads per month. I know that you can get this much business from it, you know, whatever the case may be. So I love that. It's a great way to kind of get into business. My answer is much more along the lines of my personality, and that's going to like draw right back to food. And that is something that takes a long time, but it's totally worth it. And you haven't been to Texas. So I don't know if you've had this or not. If you have, I can tell you if you haven't been to Texas that you haven't had the right type, but brisket.
Brisket. Okay. I haven't heard of it. I have to search for it.
See?
Okay.
Oh man. So we're going to have to get you to Texas and then I'm going to have to smoke a brisket for you, man, or at least take you somewhere like Tejas here in town that has some of the best brisket I've ever had in my life, or Bexar barbecue. So brisket, man, you take this, it's basically, I don't know, the best way for me to kind of align it for you is like a pot roast.
Okay.
Right. You know, it's a big chunk of meat off of a cow. It's beef. And then what we do is we throw that on a smoker and we just sit there and smoke that thing. Usually it's about an hour per pound. Depends on the smoker, your temperature, you know, the meat, a number of things. So the best people that smoke brisket are going to tell you not to go based off of a time, but to go based off of temperature. And that's the thing, man. So you get one of those big briskets, I'm talking, you know, anywhere from 12 to 17 pounds. And it can take you anywhere from like 6 to 12 to 18 hours, depending on how you cook it. It takes a while, but that meat comes out and it's so juicy and tender. And it's perfect. So I will have to get you to Texas so you can have some brisket perfection. Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. I just love meat.
Yeah, you can Google like some guys out of the UK that come to Texas and have that Texas barbecue, and they just absolutely lose their mind for it. And it's definitely worth it. It is 100% a legitimate response that they're having.
Man, it's a business idea here for Portugal, maybe. To farm
right? Bring that brisket in. I'm telling you, man, it is great. But before we hop into it, we always have to take a second and talk about our sponsors. And if you're tired of juggling multiple platforms for your marketing and sales needs, it's time to revolutionize your business with Wingman. Wingman is an all-in-one marketing automation software designed by experienced marketers who understand your struggles. It's a game changer that combines the best tools to streamline your communication, automate your workflows, and grow your business. You can capture leads using landing pages, surveys, forms, and more. You can nurture them with personalized messages via voicemail, SMS, emails, and even Facebook Messenger. And you can close those deals with built-in tools to collect payments, schedule appointments, and track analytics. So say goodbye to multiple marketing tools and hello to Wingman, your unified platform for all of your business needs. Enhance your online presence, manage your reputation effectively, and cultivate leads effortlessly. If you're ready to take your business to new heights, visit trustyourwingman.com today and let Wingman be your co-pilot to success, because every business needs a wingman. But Tiago, we're here to talk about you, man. So let's talk about where you came from, how you got into entrepreneurship. Take us through your origin story.
Yeah, John, thanks so much for asking. It's like, it's been a journey, you know. I've, of course, I didn't start thinking about this when I was younger, about like digital marketing and stuff like that. I actually wanted to be a cinematographer, wanted to be a movie director. Did a lot of like those stop motion movies at home and stuff like that. I actually tried to go to the Conservatory of Cinema. Here's how we call it in Portugal. But I figured out quickly it was a very elitist world. I didn't get into it, so I got upset with it. Then I changed my mind. Okay, The closest thing to it is like advertising and marketing. So I did my an undergrad degree on that area, but then I needed to be more specific. So I started going to, okay, let's focus on strategic consumer marketing. And then I went to the UK, to Manchester, to make a master's degree exactly on that. And that's exactly when I started, shaping this where I am right nowadays. Which all started with a gentleman called Adrian Thomas, was my tutor at the time. He was a 73-year-old man, and he told us, you should look at digital marketing. It's the future. It was in 2008 or something like that. It was the present at the time, but for him, it was like, it's going to grow like crazy. So I changed the topic of my thesis, my final thesis, to the impact of Google and search engine marketing in UK consumers. And that's where my passion started growing. Like, okay, Google is like amazing, the holy grail of this digital marketing. Came back to Portugal, worked a bit for half a year in an agency as an intern, but I always had this on top of mind. I have to go to Google. Google is the holy grail. So I started slowly touching my network, seeing if someone knows someone that works there, at the European headquarters in Dublin, Ireland. And it happened that someone knew someone, and I made a nice CV using my design skills. As my CV, as if it were a Google search of my name, and then the results were my experience and my background, etc. Somehow captured the attention of people there, of recruiters, and there I went. 2011 to Google was 8 incredible years. Yeah, very, very, very fun. I had the chance to work with some of the biggest companies in Europe, Middle East. Had a lot of fun, but at some point I got a bit tired of the corporate world. Felt a bit limited about working only with one single product, like Google Ads, and Facebook ads were growing like crazy at the time. I felt I wanted to use my creativity to consult businesses, and also the fact that I have a boss nagging my nerves every week was. I realized I was psychologically unemployable very early on, and started thinking, okay, I need to find a different path. I need to find something else to do, and then I decided in 2019 to come back to Portugal. Quit Google. My wife, thank God, she supported me on that, and let's do it. Let's follow our dreams. And came back here to I bought a house here in the middle of the countryside, still close to the civilization, but like a more calm life. And I wanted to help local businesses, small businesses, and entrepreneurs using everything I had learned. But at some point, I felt like I was sitting against a brick wall because creating your own business is a bit different than consulting huge companies. Like, they already have proven offers. It's very easy to help them make even more money. But create your own business, not exactly the same thing. I was making my life too complicated, my life and my clients' life, with using extremely complex strategies with Google Ads and funnels. So for 3 years, I fell into all the traps possible. With that mixed with all the gurus, internet marketing gurus, telling me, follow this shiny object, you're one funnel away, and etc. So I was following to all those traps. After 3 years, I decided, okay, I have to do something. I need to find a mentor, someone that already walked the path and that helps me be responsible, be organized, make a plan. That happened in 2021. I worked with Terry Dean. I don't know if you know him. He's like a dinosaur of internet marketing. Creating my vision, my plan, decided clearly who I wanted to help, and started simplifying my approach of marketing, going back to the basics and the timeless strategies of business and marketing. And inspired by this gentleman, Jay Abraham, getting everything you can out of all you've got. I focus on this last sentence, all you've got. So what do we have? We already have network, we have connections, we have established relationships around us, we have followers. And that got me to create this anti-marketing method, which is exactly that. So you already have everything you need in your own world. You don't need to follow those shiny objects, those crazy, complex strategies. You don't need that, at least when you're at the beginning stages. You already have everything at your disposal. You just need to use the people around you to create an offer, like we discussed it, at the beginning of our conversation. And then simply sell it to those who need it around you. And to those who don't need it, you can still create an amazing business around them, because everyone needs money. So you can create a referral program for your own new offer, and create a sales team around you that will start sending you clients constantly, and you can reward them with commissions, etc. So that's the basics of my anti-marketing and how I got here.
Yeah, it's crazy how you kind of so many entrepreneurs can relate to that story of leaving the corporate world, having that cush job. It's something that I struggled with forever. I mean, I'm not in a corporate world, but I'm still working for someone.
Yes.
I'm still making my money based off of taxpayer dollars in my case. And then on top of that, I work my other jobs where I am an entrepreneur in one business. I'm also working for a marketing agency who's my business partner, my friend, and my boss, all three wrapped up into one. But it's crazy how I listened to his story. Similar to you, he was working for Apple and
Oh.
he had that cush job. I think he was doing like corporate training basically for store openings. So he would go represent everything that needed to come from corporate, how to open the store, do all the training revolving around that. And I mean, he started in the store just working as an employee, moved his way up as well, and truly enjoyed Apple. To this day, he's still an Apple fanboy, but that was the big thing for him, was just like you said, he had this opportunity where he could go make his own.
Mhm.
And he looked at the company and his managers and his bosses and he said, "Hey, I want to leave, but I'm scared if it doesn't work out, where do I go from there? How do I come back?" And the thing that they said is probably something that you had said to you or is still in your mind either way, which was, look, Apple's not going anywhere. Apple's going to be here. You have to chase your dream and go do what's going to make you happy. And that's the most important thing that anybody can do. So it's crazy to hear kind of how those things coincide for all these entrepreneurs, because it's that freedom that they're after. But like you said, kind of going into the marketing side of things and the consulting side of things, behind me over here, I don't know if you can see, but $100 million leads. I mean, Alex Hermosi, like
wow.
all these guys, Jay Abraham. There's so many really good books out there that you can read from people, the 4-Hour Work Week and all of these things are going to kind of help guide you along your path. But the big thing for me is it's kind of like going to college. I can read the book and I can understand. And for many people, that'll probably be just fine and you can get along. But if you really want to unlock that secret to success, you pay for a little bit of tutoring.
Yeah.
And you get that person to kind of explain to you like, hey, out of these 368 pages in a book, you only need to know these 2 pages or these 6 pages or this one chapter or whatever the case may be. You need to set it up this way. I've said it before on here with other consultants that it's almost like going into the woods and you can beat down your own path and get to that same place, or you can speed things up and go down somebody else's path that's already been beat down and then branch off just a little bit at the end to make your own way. Which maybe you're going to have more success and you're going to lead people to that same path that you're now beating down. But the point is, why not unlock the cheat code? Why not take the easier way to make the money? Because the end goal is the same, right? So I'm sure that you kind of feel that same way. What is your biggest difficulty in selling people on hiring a coach or consultant?
Yeah, it's because most of us have this natural tendency of I can do everything alone. I can just read a ton of books and watch YouTube videos and purchase a couple of courses, and then it's all good. But yeah, the problem is that we get lost in the amount of information we consume, and then it's basically a new trap that you create yourself, because there are so many options out there. You can do everything, and everything works basically if you keep consistency and you dig deeper until it actually works. Not try something for a bit and then, okay, it didn't work immediately, I'm going to try something else. And that is the trap that most of us get into. And some of us take longer. I took 3 years to get out of that trap. Some people are still there in that trap for more than 10 years, which is insane. I've found people actually like that are basically addicted to buying courses and then having this feeling that they accomplished something, that they did something just because they bought the course. And then most of the time they don't even finish it and they just keep it there. So yeah, that's the main difficulty, is to get people to understand that that's the correct mindset to have, to actually have someone at your side that will keep you accountable, that will keep you focused and doesn't let you just get distracted with other things. And because the power of everything that works in business world is to be consistent and choose something simple and just do it until it works. Not like it has to work right now, and otherwise I will do something else. No, everything takes some time. You need consistency and to do it for long periods of time. Sometimes you're lucky and it get faster, but at least you're focused on something, and that's absolutely key. that most people don't have it intuitively. I didn't have it. It has to be something that maybe you have to go through on your own, experience the trying to break the stone alone and trying to be successful alone. And it's actually, I figured this out. Actually, I had my own podcast at the beginning of my career as an entrepreneur. I interviewed tons of experts and celebrities in my area, and I found that the pattern was exactly that most of them or all of them chose to have a mentor early on in their career because they wanted the fast path, they wanted the fast growth. And so there's a pattern there, right? So none of them tried everything on their own and trying to reinvent the wheel. It always starts that with following a proven path. And then, of course, you start adding your own viewpoints. You choose something from a mentor and mix with some other mentor and then put your own taste onto it and you find your own voice. But yeah, it's absolutely crucial. And I think only when you're prepared, the mentor will come, right? As they say.
Yeah, I've seen the shiny object syndrome because I've been a victim of it. It's so easy. I mean, because again, you become an entrepreneur because you want to work on the things you want to work on and you want to do the things that you want to do. But what you don't realize is that there are still rules in place. There are still things that you're going to have to follow, standard operating procedures that you have to have. And, one of those most important things is you've got to make money at what you're doing. Otherwise, you're not going to be doing it for very long or at the very least, very comfortably. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not making that money, you're not going to last very long. And sometimes it's easier to make money from the mundane or boring things than it is from the shiny objects that we see where we're like, hey, you know what? I want to start a podcast. Ooh, I want to do video. I want to do photography and photos. I want to do social media management. I want to do Google ads. I want to do social media ads. I want to do websites. I want to do graphic design. I want to do branding. It's so easy to get caught up in all of that stuff. And that seems like a long, exhaustive list. And people are like, there's no way somebody's out there doing it. Well, Beefy Marketing did for years. For years, that's what we were doing. We were doing everything because why? We love the creative side. We love all of those things. And now what we've done is we focused on making our customers money. And then that in turn leads to more money for them to spend on marketing, which once you have everything set up the way that you need it, now you can focus on your podcasting and you can do those things that you want because you're making enough money. So what do you think is kind of like your process to getting someone to understand that and then start down that path of actually making money and unlocking their own freedom?
Yeah. So it goes back again to what we discussed initially. It's we have to be very clear who you want to serve. It starts with that, with the person and the kind of the problem that you're trying to help solve or the outcome you're trying to give to those people. You have to be very clear. Otherwise, you're going to be a generalist. You're going to be just another guy, another digital agency or another coach or whatever. You cannot do that anymore in our current status, in this current competitive landscape. Otherwise, you're just gonna stay here for a couple of months and then disappear. So being very specific on who you're serving, and then talking to people, like we said, interview 5 to 10 people in that area to understand them as much as possible, to get the words that they use. Because if you do that, you'll have all the emotional words that people use and what comes in their mind. You don't need to invent anything. You don't need to be an amazing copywriter. You can simply copy paste and talk exactly the language of the people that you want to serve, because that will naturally attract them to you. They will resonate with your message, and it will be much easier. Your life becomes so easy because you can communicate easier with them. You can sell to them because you know all the objections they might have and what they actually want to achieve. And then it also makes your life easier to deliver whatever you're serving, like your service, your program, whatever, because you know exactly what's the path from A to B. They have this problem, they want to achieve this outcome. So, okay, I know how to figure it out and make it something almost like a factory of results, of transformations. Because they're also something that I'm thinking more and more nowadays is that the fact that we as solopreneurs, it's a dangerous situation to be because everything depends on you, right? Imagine if you get sick for 3 months or a year or like a family accident or whatever, your business just simply disappears, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have that structure of, a specific audience, a specific process to generate transformations that can be outsourced in the future, right? You can document the process. You can make something very reliable and replicatable, it makes your life easier, and also makes life easier in the future for you to, if you want to leave the company at some point or make the company depend less on you. I'm sorry, I went on a tangent there, but that was basically the message I was trying to. So first of all, decide on a niche, interview people, create the offer around that, what people actually want to achieve and want to resolve. And then you can simply go back to those people and say, hey, I just got this offer. It solves the problem you're talking to me about. What do you think about it? What's your opinion? Most likely you'll get a couple of clients like that. And if they don't need it right now, you can ask them, do you know anyone who actually needs this specific process? I actually have a referral program for you, and I can give you a commission if you send me over a client that becomes a client. And like this, you can start just by interviewing people. It opens up tons of doors, as you see. You can have immediately new clients. You can create your referral team, and people send you clients all the time. So, and simply by this simplest step, which will give you quick wins for sure, if you create an offer that actually solves a now problem, a problem that people are actually suffering, that they want to solve it urgently now. If it's just a nice to know thing, people won't buy because they don't have a strong reason to buy now. For example, if you say to someone, hey, I'll help you lose weight the next 30 days or whatever. It's something a bit more generic nowadays, right? People are used to that. They tried tons of things before, it didn't work. So it will come inside one ear and leave through the other. But if you focus your message on something that more specific, that solves a now problem for them, an urgent problem for them, like for example, you will lose weight, but I'll also fix your knee problem that doesn't let you go upstairs to your apartment or pick up your daughter or your or your grandson or whatever. So focusing on now problems is a key for you to unlock and make it easy for you to market, to sell, etc. Yeah, those are the things that I would do for someone starting right now.
Is there anyone that you don't work with as far as industries or business types?
I'm focused more on people that work in this kind of help industry, people that generate results for others, service providers, coaches, consultants, because it's a different math, because if you're a drop shipper or if you sell very low tickets physical products, the math doesn't work if you have this approach of talking to people, tapping into your network. It has to be something that you can charge for high tickets, so you don't need a huge volume of sales for you to achieve your results. You can do very well with 3 to 5 clients per month, something like that. So that's actually my focus at the moment. Yeah.
And as far as geographic location for working with people, is there any type of limit to that, or is most of our work going to be done virtually?
Yeah, it will be done virtually, most likely. Some people like to do like higher versions of their programs in where they do a retreat in some location in their own country for those highly motivated clients that already purchased their program. But yeah, mostly online. Why not leverage what we have here, right? Everything we have, internet connection, computer.
Yeah. So what does it look like to kind of work with you then? So is that something where we're meeting once a week? Are we meeting once a month? Am I attending classes? I know that you just mentioned, obviously, if I want to have a nice big retreat, you would not be heartbroken to fly out somewhere for a retreat. But, how does it look working with you every single day, week, or month?
So my programs usually have access to me directly. I like to keep the one-on-one approach through chat, through email, to unlock some problems that people might have, obstacles, give feedback to something they've done. And then once a week, I like to meet with the person, to unlock more obstacles, go deeper into some specific problems. Because then the program itself, or the delivery of the lessons and the things people have to do, I usually deliver by short videos that have something actionable for them to implement immediately, with the help of some worksheets and things that can actually replicate templates and stuff like that. But I like to meet weekly, and then throughout the rest of the days, always have the chat because this accountability step I figured out after many years doing these things, is crucial. Because if you just give videos to the people, most of them will never watch them all. I've seen a scary a scary study that said like around 3%, only 3% of people actually finish online courses. And imagine what percentage of them have actually success with the course, right? It's something scary, because people just buy courses, then put them in some folder, never watch it again. So it's usually better to have some sort of access to you or the team that you later will expand on. This accountability is crucial to keep people responsible, organized, and actually make sure that they implement things so they start having quick wins and get motivated and then actually have the results.
So what is the best way for me to find out more information about you and about what programs you have to offer and how to, if I'm a good fit to work with you and how to get started?
Yeah, so I'm actually at the beginning stages of internationalizing my brand. So my assets are still in Portuguese. But if you go to tiagofaria.pt, tiagofaria.pt, you can lurk me a bit. You can use Chrome, Google Translate to see what I've been doing. You can send me an email if you have any questions about this strategy at tiago@tiagofaria.pt. Or if you want to have a call with me, I love to know new people and figure out. We can have a diagnostics call to see what you have in your world, see if we can do something about it. If you want to expand your reach, etc., I have other kind of programs I could help out with. So on my top right corner, you can just book a free call. That's how you can get more of me.
That's perfect, man. So if you had one piece of advice that you could get out to every single person listening, maybe it's something that you see quite often. I know we've touched on some of the big problems, the shiny object syndrome quite a bit, but is there anything out there that you feel like entrepreneurs need to hear right now as they're starting their journey, or maybe they're in the middle of it and struggling?
Yeah, I think it's not being afraid of talking to people in your network constantly. Like ask around, interview people every day that is in your niche, of course. And those that are not in your niche, that don't need your offers, that don't need your programs, keep talking to them and asking, hey, do you know someone that would be a good fit for this? Have chats with them, book video calls daily, because that starts to unlock so many opportunities. It's incredible what we have. We have gold mines on our contact lists, on our email lists, on our network, on our LinkedIn networks. And if we do that consistently every day, it's unavoidable that you will get results. It's just a matter of just systemizing that approach and of talking to people, not hiding behind our computer all the time. You'll be surprised by what could happen with that.
Amazing advice, man. Something that I struggled so long because I felt so good with sales that I struggled to see that there is a problem with that shiny object syndrome, with your time management, with all of these things. So I can't recommend any more than I already have to people that you've got to get you a coach or consultant, someone that you can talk to, someone that can show you the way and guide you so you're not wasting your time. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all this information with us today.
Thank you, John. It was true honor, pleasure. Hope someone gets something out of this conversation.
I think they will. If they don't, they weren't really listening, man. And it's always our pleasure to have you on. And listeners, same thing for you. It's always our pleasure to have you tuning in for another episode of Small Business Origins. As always, down in the show notes, we're going to have all of Tiago's links. That way you can find him, connect with him, see if he's a good fit, maybe even try working with him. This is something that I have to urge you to do if you're an entrepreneur out there, because if you're not, you're probably wasting time somewhere. And the best way to do that is have an uninterested third party, someone who is not worried about competing with you or anything else, someone who is on your side that can look objectively at what you have going on and say, hey, this is where you can get better. And I think Tiago can do that for you just fine. So please, if nothing else, check out the show notes, check out his links, see what he has going on, share it. It costs $0 to be a good person and share these entrepreneur stories who are trying to go out there and make a difference. But for us, that's it. It's been another entrepreneur, another great episode traveling across the world now to the other side of the Atlantic, to other parts of this world, instead of just this country, making an impact in more than one place. So all I will ever ask you to do is please like our show, follow it, review it, share it with a friend. And that's it for us. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, stay beefy, my friends.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Small Business Origins.
I love an origin story.
If you like what you just heard, leave us a review, subscribe, and share with a friend.
You guys, check this out.
They're going to love it. You're going to love it.